All right, I am here with Skrappjaw. We are going to get right into this. So many people have been requesting this video. I'm going to show you how to use Jack to fix all these audio issues and kind of not really get rid of Pulse, but subsidize it because Pulse is kind of still around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scrap's going to add in the technical details, but essentially what we're doing here is we've just gone to KXStudio. We'll have the link down below, or Skrap will, because it's going to be on your channel. And in there, you're going to click that link, and you're just going to follow these steps here for installing it if you're in Debian or Ubuntu-based distro. As you can see, we are just copying these commands, and we are putting them into the terminal and letting it run. So you don't have to have any terminal wizardry to know here. You're just basically getting all the files that you need to start installing these KXStudio packages and their dependencies. So give us some technical knowledge behind this. Anything particular we're installing or should know about?
Yeah, right now we're just installing the repos from KXStudio. One is dependent on the other, so definitely install both of these repositories. Even though it says if you're using a newer or equal system to Debian 9 or Ubuntu 16.04, it's going to scream at you and say, hey, you need this other package, which is the first one on the list. So,
and once you're done with that, we're going to give you another command in here, which installs the Jack D2, carla-git, cadence, non-mixer, and pulseaudio-module-jack. And this is where the business starts to happen, right? Because now we've got the actual applications that are going to take over this, interface for what would typically be just Pulse Audio. And this has changed my life because now I can set, utilize my Focusrite to its full capabilities at 96,000 hertz and get much cleaner audio, much easier to interface. There are all kinds of problems people are running into with Pulse Audio. We heard about it on Biddle. We've heard about it in the Telegram for Destination Linux, and everybody's been begging you, Skrap, for this tutorial. So all you're going to do is run that line down there, and it's going to install everything for you that you need, those programs. You want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yep. Basically, carla-git is going to be the patch bay. You're going to be able to see all the lines drawn from your I/O in Jack, and cadence is the tool that we use to configure Jack. And then there's the Pulseaudio module. That's the bridge between the two, because Pulseaudio doesn't go away. We're just bridging that gap.
And what you can see here is once you install all those, you're going to open up Cadence, which is going to be your main interface, and you're going to see you're not in the user group. It says user group no there, and that means you're not going to be able to use this at this moment. So you need to add yourself as a user to the audio user group, and then once you log in and log back out, which we'll show here in a minute, you'll be in that audio group, and you'll be able to start taking control of your system. So I messed up here as well. You guys are going to have the full script that actually has Jack included, but in the original one, when you seen me run it, Skrap came in and fixed it. But I didn't have Jack D in there in that script, so you're going to see me go in and install Jack D, but you won't need to do that again, and that's why I'm getting this error here. Jack D bus is not available.
And the other thing about the user audio groups, you have to log out and log back in before they take effect. So you'll notice that here in the video.
Yep. Mistakes were made, but ultimately I got it working. And I can't live without this now because we do the production for Destination Linux, and I had constant audio issues. You sat up with me for like 4 hours one night and fixed me up. This has changed everything for me because the audio has been such a problem within Pulse Audio has been such a problem with me within Linux, running any equipment outside of standard, sound card and speakers setup. You just start running into some strange issues. So now that we've done that, we go into this configuration, and this is where your genius is really going to come in, because I just follow your steps here, but I don't really know what all these things are doing.
Yeah. So what's going on right here? We need the there's the configure. So real time, we have that checked. That's going to keep all of this stuff here keeps this as running smooth as possible. So real-time scheduling, real-time priority, the higher the priority, the process for Jack is going to do all of its things sooner and more efficiently. So 90 is probably about the ceiling you want there. And then the client timeout, port max, I just leave those default. clock sources system. That way everything is synchronous. And then over in our advanced, you'll see there we're also going to check server synchronous mode as well. And that should be everything in this on this engine tab. The next one is in the drivers, and we want to go to.
I think I'm going to click here and also in a second. There we go.
All right, there it is. Also, that's what you want. And then you'll select your hardware devices. Select your I/O. If you have an interface that does all the inputs and outputs, then select that in both your input device and output device. You can mix and match input and output devices. Sometimes it's quirky. Play with that, and your mileage might vary.
So input's going to be a mic. Output's going to be like speakers or headphones or something along those lines. So if you're using a Blue Yeti or something like that, then you're going to want to choose that as your input device, and your output device would be your standard sound card.
Yeah.
In my case, I have a Scarlett, so I do both.
Yeah, and so what we just did here was we set the sample rate. Set your sample rate to the max that your card will allow, or the max that, if you have two different ones, whichever one has the lower max sample rate available, use that.
So in my case, I have the Scarlett, which is 96,000, but we looked up the Blue Yeti because a lot of people use that. That's at 48,000. So if your sound card can handle 48,000, you'd go there. If it can't, then go down to what your sound card can handle, say 44,000.
Yep, and here we also, then we have to set our buffer size, and we added a little bit of latency in there as well. That just helps things move a little smoother.
Perfect. So essentially, I think I go in here and I kill Pulseaudio, but essentially at this point, we've done all of the settings. I kill Pulseaudio, which we're going to have a script for you at the end that you can run, and then I basically reinitialize it. And it was amazing because I was having issues during Destination Linux. I was recording this right after the episode, and as soon as I did it, the static was gone, everything was clear again, and my audio kicked over.
Yeah. So I think here you're going to end up going into your Pulseaudio settings, and we're going to see. Or is it Carla? Here we go. All right, we're getting into Carla now. And this what shows basically the wires behind where everything goes. Your system output on the right, system input on the left. Those are your interfaces. Your speakers or your microphone to the left, speakers to the right. And then the Pulseaudio jack sync and source, we're going to see inside our Pulseaudio options as devices individually. That way you can take whatever it is you need and put it there.
Now, you won't need to really mess with that because you're going to do some follow-up videos in that area, and we're going to have a script for everybody that they can run that basically you can either manually kick off this script or you can set it in your auto start section and it'll kick off every time your system boots. And all it's going to do is just kind of do that kill Pulseaudio and restart Pulseaudio piece of it, and you'll be good to go every time. Now, if you need to switch to a different sound source, you would still go to your Pulseaudio, little widget at the bottom of your screen, and you could switch to a different audio source. But the other thing to keep in mind is that when you get into your audio source, you're now going to have to, you're going to see an option, and I forgot what we named it. What was it? You're going to see either jack sync.
It's jack audio in and jack audio out, because the defaults of Pulseaudio jack sync and source are kind of ambiguous and they don't really tell you a whole lot. So in the script, it's now renamed so that way when it runs, it will remove the defaults and it will bring up new ones that are renamed. So that way it's easier for you when you go into your Pulseaudio options to select inputs and outputs for recording and playback. That way you know what they are.
Yep. So just to clarify, if you don't run the script, you could go into your Pulseaudio, and the option you'll now have is jack sync for your output and jack source for your input, in my case, or in anybody's case. Now, once you run that script, you're going to have something a little more clear, which is going to actually be labeled input and output instead of sync and source. So if you use the script, you'll have it more clear. If you don't, just know that you're going to see jack there that you'll want to select then to be able to utilize that audio source that you set up when we were in the configure file with Cadence. Anything else we need to cover?
No, I think that the only thing we have left to say is that in the next video, we will show you how to set up your actual recording software in said configurations. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Scrap. I cannot wait to get this content out. People are so excited to see this. It's going to be on your channel. We're going to have follow-up videos on this as well. But let me tell you, this changed my life in the audio world. I think a lot of people have frustrations with Pulse. It could change yours too. You actually explain this a little bit. Why is it that Pulse doesn't work as well with these other interfaces as Jack does?
Pulseaudio is easy mode. It's meant to turn on and work so you can turn on your computer and watch your YouTube videos, listen to your music, do those things, hear your games. It's not, and so what it does is all of the little tweaks and things that we did in our configuration where we set up our sample rates and our buffer sizes, Pulseaudio selects the common denominator, the most easy, stable thing that it possibly can, and it automatically adjusts certain things in the background. So that's why when you're trying to record something, it needs to be stable and the audio needs to be clear. With Pulseaudio, when all of the other things in your system are going on, Pulseaudio is like, oh crap, all it sees is the numbers and the instability. It doesn't hear what you're hearing. It doesn't know that it has to stay at said buffer size and sample rate. And so you get things that don't match with their sample rates, and then you get all kinds of static. So Jack, you set it and it's there, and the things that you can record with that are using Jack, it becomes now the bridge between Pulse. Pulse does what it does, and you can pipe whatever you want from your system into Jack, and then you put your recording software in Jack, and it's happy.
It's awesome, man. And you know what you're talking about because you utilize this for guitar interfaces, you play in bands, you've got all kinds of fancy equipment. I just do the voiceover work and want the mic and my DBX and everything to function right, but you do a lot of audio engineering style work. So you know what you're talking about. Thank you again, man, for this. Again, it's amazing. I love that I get to be featured on your channel. So that's going to be cool.
Well, thank you.
And that's it.